Okay. Hi, Douglas. Very nice to see you. I hope that it's everything's set up. I just got a call from Lenny's kid, which I feel like is my kid too. But let me just check it out and make sure there's no Spreaker today. Just Streamyard and Douglas. Very nice to see you. I'm so happy you're here. I'm never that happy to see you, dude, but I'm happy to see you right now because I don't want to really talk to myself today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure everybody's heard. I saw Matt Hooper was here a little bit ago. Hopefully he'll come back, and Malpal will show up too for a little while. He's in Chicago right now at a card show. These baseball card shows. Apparently, like I didn't know anything about these card shows, and you pay baseball players to sign autographs, and Malpal has like a ton of collectors things, and he's always getting autographs. Like he's always sending stuff out to get signed, and then they send it back and stuff like that. So he went to Chicago for this, and he said the place was packed full of people. He said it's the biggest one that they do, but it's a yearly thing. And he told me that Big Poppy's autograph is $250. I was like, Big Poppy, I would love to go wave at him or something. But he did send me a picture. He got hi George, nice to see you. Tell George, oh, you're doing research. Okay, well, I hope that I could help you with your research. Tell George that there's only the video, no Spreaker today. I should start Spreaker. Let's just do it. I'm gonna do that. So anyway, he's at this baseball card show. He got Pete Rose to sign his thing, and he got Pudge to sign his thing. So it's like this. It's an MVP. I believe it's a poster, but it's an MVP. It's got all these or Cy Youngs or no MVPs. Definitely. Malpal's gonna think I never listened to him, dude. If I keep acting like this, but I was listening. It's an MVP with all these autographs from all the different years of MVPs, and like Pudge said to him that he really liked it. He was interested in it, and he called him over to talk to him afterwards. And just give me 1 second. I see the microphone is working, and I will start Spreaker. Do I even need to start Spreaker? I don't even know if anybody listens. I never pay attention to see if people listen, but here you go, Spreaker people. You're going. Let's just start it. Okay, we're starting Spreaker. Now that's on too, just in case. Hi, Daniel. So nice to see you. I know you go to these card shows too, but Malpal was telling me about the one that he's at now in Chicago. But tonight we're going to talk about the impact of the trade deadline. We're going to talk about some players that are interesting. That this is this is like the most active trade deadline that I've seen ever since I started watching baseball. I can't remember another. Maybe we're just like so desperate for entertainment. I get maybe, but I really think that there was so many trades. Like this is crazy. I have an NL only league. And so in this NL only league, there's additions to this league that are serious. And I should have thought about this. I will never forget this again, and I'm here to share it with you. I when it was my turn and I was at the top of waivers, okay, when it's your turn to be, you're the first guy that gets the waiver pick because there's no money in this league. It's just waiver, right? So if you're at the top of the list, then you get to pick, you're the first one that gets dibs at any player. So, like, I just made a pickup like 3 or 4 days ago. I picked up a player, somebody that is useless pretty much, but just like if you find a beating heart on the waiver wire in an NL only league, then you are happy about it. And you do what you got to do. I picked up Tommy La Stella is who I picked up just the other day. No, he was free. He was actually free because once they're on waivers for a certain amount of days, then you could just pick them up anytime you want. Whoever it was on waivers that I took my turn at the top of the list, and now I'm 10th out of 13th, okay, in the order, that I'm not even going to get any of these guys. And next year, I will never, ever forget this in any kind of league that does this type of waivers where you move up to the top, and then once you take a pick, then you go to the bottom of the list like that. Okay, I should have thought, like, that trade deadline is coming up soon, and that there's a chance that a good number of players, or at least a few players, are going to get switched over from the American League to the National League, and we're going to have like players that would never be available in a normal time. Okay, so I'm a 10th out of 13th. George is in this league, and he's not here right now, but I know that every single MLB team was involved in at least one trade. This this deadline. So that's good. It means, I mean, there's definite buyers, there's definite sellers. There's a lot more sellers than there are buyers, but it was nice to see so many teams like going for it. Even the Yankees, who I was like, nah. I mean, if it would have been George Steinbrenner, I would have said, okay, of course, the Yankees, they could possibly do it because they don't really care if they go over the tax threshold. So like they were like $4 million away or $10 million away from going over. And I thought, like, I mean, I argued with Lenny, and of course, I get to hear it now because Lenny was like, "Yeah, Max Scherzer." No, uh, he was saying that the Yankees were going to get Gallo, and I was like, "Why are they going to get Gallo? Like, what's the point of Gallo?" Well, I know that they need a left-hand bat. Okay, they needed a lefty in the lineup, but I was like, there's no way because they know, I mean, they're smart enough to know that they do not have all the pieces by adding Joey Gallo to win a World Series. They just don't have it. They're going to have to make some other moves if they do that, and it will definitely put them over the threshold. But they were able to work it out. I still don't think that they even went over. But the point is that these teams that our buyers are exciting. I mean, think of this. You have the NL West and the AL East, and of course, you had the Cubbies just have a fire sale real quick, just sold everybody off. But mostly the buyers are on the American League East and the National League West. So that's the buyer's market. There we go. And the the Padres and the Dodgers, the Giants, this is going to be so fun to watch. I'm really glad to see that these West Coast teams are getting some love finally because, well, now that I live on the East Coast, right? But my whole time watching baseball on the West Coast, like they never got any love. There was hardly, I mean, they were always talking about East Coast teams. It felt like that anyway. But now with the Padres and the Dodgers being so good and the Giants coming out of nowhere, so that's exciting. But they didn't just sit there and wait. They like made moves too. They're like, we're not messing around. And Berrios, I've been predicting Berrios to go to the Toronto Blue Jays. I was so pleased when I saw that trade. There's a few trades I'm not that pleased about. Like I don't get some of the trades, but okay. I mean, I guess, there's a reason for all the trades, but some of the trades just didn't seem like they were that big of a deal breaker. So sometimes it was like, why did the Padres did they get Frazier? I think it was Frazier. It was someone like Frazier. It was somebody that they really didn't need because they already have that position covered. And I thought you could really invest your prospects in better places. But they all did say, when they make moves right now, they're telling you that they can compete and they believe that they can. And so that's fun. That's really what makes baseball fun. So the Blue Jays, though, getting Jose Berrios, I don't even know what they had to give up for him. I don't even know because I didn't look at it yet. I just know that they added Jose Berrios, and that is huge for them. And, they're such a fun team to watch, kind of like the Padres are a fun team to watch. They're just a fun team to watch. They have all these youngsters that are just getting it. Like Bichette is breaking franchise records. And, it's just nice and finally for the Toronto Blue Jays fans. I don't know for sure that Canada is letting fans, okay, there at Rogers Center, but I sure hope they are because the fans deserve to see this season that the Toronto Blue Jays are having. That's all there is to it. They deserve to see their team. Hello. But another thing that's not a great thing for the Toronto Blue Jays is that they were playing at like a minor league ballpark. They were playing at a spring training complex. That was their home field. So, it was easier to hit out of these parks than it is to hit out of the normal ballparks. I mean, they're still going to be good, but there is some little advantage in not going home, but now they are home. Good for them. Very excited for those fans for sure. They get to see their team. The Padres got Jake Marisnick. Who got Frazier? Didn't Adam Frazier go there? Who got Frazier? So when Lenny said that Javi Baez went to the Mets, I was like, what the hell is this? For real. What in the world are they doing? Well, Javi Baez can play more than just shortstop. He can play second base. I believe he might be able to play third base too, but I think he plays 3 spots. That's just off the top of my head, but I definitely know that he's going to play second base for the Mets. And Lord knows the Mets need somebody with some decent defense, okay, in the infield. I mean, they have just been having the weakest defense. A lot of teams are having weak defense, but we knew going into the season with the Mets, it was like, you better address your defensive problems, because you are basically telling people to just go ahead and hit it down the third baseline and nobody's going to bother with it. They're just going to, it's going to be a hit every time. Oh, look, Lenny sent me some, did Lenny send me nuggets today? I didn't see that Lenny sent me nuggets, but I guess he did. We'll do those in the morning. We'll talk about those in the morning. I have my own nuggets because, at The Athletic, Jason Stark, he does an article once a month on the wild and weird things that happen in baseball. And I always love reading it. It's full of tidbits and nuggets, as Lenny would call them. But so I took a couple of those nuggets from him, and we'll talk about those as the nuggets. But it's nice to see. Lenny never said that he sent me nuggets today, but it's nice to see that they are in there. Okay, so let's see. I need to get to my notes for today. Owned by me. Here we go. Chris Sale pitched 5 innings. Yes, he did 5 innings at a rehab start today or yesterday. One of the days, today or yesterday, he did 5 innings, one earned run, 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Chris Sale, just the fact that he's pitching 5 innings is very exciting. Don't get too crazy, but that's a good sign for sure. A bad sign today that happened is that, Fernando Tatis he's injured. We knew he was injured since yesterday because he left the game. He has a freaking problem with his shoulder. He dislocates his shoulder, but only partially. So every time he does it, it makes it more of a chance that it's going to happen again. Just the odds that it happening again, they increase like exponentially every time he pops it out of place. And so what happens now is that it pops out real quick and then it pops back in, and okay, but it gets sore, but it's not like that big of a deal. The problem is that it keeps happening, and it's going to keep happening until he gets it fixed, which he'll love to try to wait till the off season to do this. But there's a real problem now. And every time San Diego, dude, it's like this team has the worst. They got Clevenger. Look at Clevenger. They had their catcher was out for like the first 2 months of the season. I mean, their pitching has just been atrocious compared to what we thought it was going to be. Like Blake Snell is just, I know he might not be the best pitcher in baseball, but he should have been better than he is right now. I mean, this is just, or he's just horrible. I don't even know what he's doing because I've totally cut ties with everything about Blake Snell. But here's the thing. Fernando Tatis is on the injured list. He's on the 10-day right now, but they're not even going to evaluate him until next week, 10 more days. They're going to reevaluate him. I'm sorry, folks. I told you to sell him. I told you to trade him. I told you that this was going to happen again. And that's all I'm going to do for the I told yous, but I did. I was the only one. I said to trade him. This is a big problem. This shoulder injury, and every time it pops out of place, it risks breaking the actual ligament or tendon that holds it together. Every time, it's like a rubber band. It's being pulled back in by something. Every time it pops out of place, it pulls back in. But every time it does, it stretches it. It could break. He will need surgery then. He's going to probably need surgery anyways. So, in fact, I'm almost positive that he will. I haven't looked at his injury tonight, but I've looked at it a lot of times before. And I've been saying this is bad news. He's young though, so he's going to be able to heal right away. And obviously this didn't go all the way out. It didn't get to the point where it was going to cause enough injury to require surgery before you could play baseball again. So I think that we're going to see what happens after 10 days, but that's not a good sign, folks, okay? Gonsolin went on the injured list for the same problem. Both of them were labeled as shoulder inflammation, okay? Shoulder inflammation. And you only usually see that with pitchers, but with Tatis, I mean, I thought it was going to slow him down. I thought it was going to be surely a thing that he would be hindered on stealing bases. He's just been crazy good. And I mean, I'm really happy to see that he's been very good. Let me look at his stolen base totals. 23 stolen bases. This guy steals bases like he doesn't even care. You know he's sliding on that shoulder. You know that he's sliding into bases. What is he doing? Sliding all the time. I'm sorry. That's like my motherly instinct coming out here with this because um this guy is still okay, so he's in the last couple weeks, in the last 21 days, he has only 3 stolen bases. In 21 days, definitely has slowed down on the stealing bases because in the last 3 weeks he has 3. That means in the first couple months he had a lot of stolen bases. I'm telling you, this shoulder thing is no bueno. No bueno. Gonsolin, shoulder inflammation. We'll see more about that. I don't have a lot of information, but I do know that Don Mattingly has COVID, totally vaccinated, showing symptoms, not like who knows. They say that he has light symptoms. So he's vaccinated, and that's that. Strickland is vaccinated. He's on the COVID list now, too. He tested positive, and Jake Cousins tested positive. So, right now, at this point, I do keep a little spreadsheet because I'm kind of obsessed. I really want to know like the truth about what's going on with COVID. So, I try to find ways that I could keep track of cases, and the way that I can in baseball is because they can't really hide it. Like if they go on the COVID list, you can usually do a little bit more searching and find out if they're vaccinated or not. And, I have a sheet that I keep track of all of the COVID stints for the year and even going back to last year. You can find out these COVID related lists I found it at Fangraphs. Under the section for roster resource, they have the injury report, and you can narrow it down to different categories. Like you can narrow it down to COVID as far as like the injury goes. But there's over 200. There's over 200 injury stints due to COVID. Now, here's the thing. This is one reason why it's not. This is one of the problems with this way of trying to find out what's going on with the COVID. It's not reliable because in a sense it's not. I mean, you don't know exactly why they're on this list. I swear, if I was a manager, I would be using this list all the time. I would be like, he's got COVID, or he needs to quarantine because he was near somebody. That's the excuse that you use as a manager. He was around somebody that had COVID, so he's got to go to the COVID list. But the best part about it for managers is that you can send people there and you can take them off. You can activate them anytime you want. There is no minimum stay on the COVID list. So you can only imagine how many managers are using the COVID list as like, I need to make room on the roster real quick, or you're not pitching well, so you're injured, or you need to quarantine, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like there's phantom DL, and there's definitely the phantom COVID list. There's also some people that hit the COVID list for vaccine purposes, that they didn't feel good after their vaccine. But I can find that is one of the columns in the list at Fangraphs, so you could tell like what type of COVID, what it is. A lot of them are undisclosed, but I could tell by the number of days that they stay out. That's the reliable part of it, right? That's how I know if they've been vaccinated or not, and that's how I know if they actually had COVID or if they were just they had to be out. Because like if you are vaccinated in baseball, you have to be out only a minimum. You only have to be out until you get 2 negative tests. That's it. If you're not vaccinated in baseball, you have to be out at least 10 days. And that's the way they do it. So these ridiculous, protocols with the 85%, if you have 85% of your team vaccinated, then you could take your masks off and you can have dinner with each other and you can do all these things. But at what point do we accept the fact that COVID is spreading regardless of if you're vaccinated or not? And it's like, this whole thing, dude, is like living in a twilight zone. That's the truth. It's like living in a freaking twilight zone because nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's got to wear masks. They don't work. They do work. They might work. Like, I don't know, man. It just seems like Why are we keeping therapeutics away from people that are not harmful but actually could work? What if there's just a tiny chance that they could work? What if there's just a small chance that these therapeutics that we've been giving out for 50, 60 years to people, when they go to Africa, it literally, like ivermectin literally got rid of river blindness in Africa completely. Nobody has it anymore because they take once a month or once a year, maybe they take an ivermectin and that's it. It's an antiviral, whatever it is. Why are we not giving this to people? Because whether or not, even if there's only a tiny chance that it will work, why aren't we? Well, this is all, I mean, if you even thought about the diabolical reasons why we wouldn't, for just a second, you ask yourself, like, what in the world is going on? Why in the world wouldn't we want to give this to people if they've been around somebody with COVID, or if they are early showing symptoms early? Why wouldn't we? They literally tell you to go home and wait until you can't breathe and then go to the hospital. Why in the world is that happening? I mean, it's like these drugs are over the counter in most countries over the world, over the counter. So this is not political. This is for real. This is like between me and you as human beings, that if there's a chance, a tiny chance that something could possibly make you, as a treatment, maybe even if it's just a mental thing, like, maybe if you just the fact that you think that you are being treated with something, you feel like you're not going to die and you're just sitting there waiting, like, okay, I got like 24 hours until I start feeling horrible, and then I got like 4 days after that until I start not being able to breathe good. And I don't know, the mental thing is a big deal. Anyway, so let's go back to what's going on. Three more people on the COVID list, all vaccinated. All of the Washington Nationals players were vaccinated that have the COVID. I have no problem. Look, I mean, anybody that knows me, they know that how I feel about this. But regardless, I don't want to make this political. I just want to say, from human being to human being, if you were sick and I knew of something that could possibly help you, I would try to give it to you. If it doesn't work, what do you have to lose? It's not going to make anybody more sick. I mean, they've done studies, but they're only doing studies. They've only done studies for after you're like way sick and in the hospital. They've done studies. They say, oh, it doesn't help. Fine, it doesn't help. That's too late. You need to give it early, maybe even before you know you have it, like while the virus is replicating inside your body and taking over. And there are being studies done all over the world. I urge anybody watching this to check it out, because as far as I'm concerned, we should be giving this to people, and you can get it. You just you can get it. I got mine. I got some in the mail. I actually ordered it online from America's Frontline Doctors because I thought that I might have COVID. I was around Mark, which is Lenny's son, when he had COVID, but he didn't know that he had it at the time. The very next day, he found out that he had it, and so I called my doctor. I was like, "Can you prescribe?" I don't know which I asked for ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine. I don't care which one. Can you prescribe it? My doctor was like, no, we don't prescribe that. But we can give you a vaccine. And I'm like, oh, that's good. Like, I mean, I don't think that you should be giving the vaccine when someone's sick with COVID either. I mean, that's just me. I'm not a doctor. But anyway, she said, we don't do any kind of treatment for COVID. You just have to stay home, and if it gets really bad, go to the hospital. And I was like, my stomach just dropped. It was the worst feeling in the world when your doctor tells you that. So I got on the horn with America's Frontline Doctors. I made a telemedicine appointment. They called me back. The doctor talked to me for a few minutes. He sent me in the mail hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, and prescription zinc. Those three things with directions on how to use it. And I just kept it because I didn't ever get sick. And we actually were able to get these home COVID tests at the time. You can get them now. They're called Binax. You can buy them. You can take the COVID test at home. So I wasn't going to start taking those unless I my test came positive, and of course I was going to start immediately before any symptoms kicked in. And my test said no, so I kept them. But I really, like I told my mother, I think everybody should have it in their cupboard, in their medicine cabinet, because you can give these two things to pregnant people, old people, diabetic people, kids, all kinds of people. If you were going, but my doctor said, I said, but if I had scabies, would you prescribe ivermectin? And she said yes. Yes. If I had scabies. But okay, let's move on. Joey Gallo, dude. Okay, so here's some of the crazy tidbits that I found today in Jason Stark's article at The Athletic. Okay, we're talking about only one pitcher. Only one other pitcher besides Max Scherzer who has as many Cy Youngs, which is 3. So only one pitcher that has 3 Cy Youngs was ever traded in the middle of any season while he was still in his 30s. Who is that? Genius of the day for the nighttime, for Saturday Night Baseball, genius of the night. I'm going to tell this tomorrow too, because, and if you're here tomorrow, you'll hear Lenny when I tell him that who it is. He will be thinking that's pretty interesting. Anyways, there's only one other pitcher in history, Major League Baseball history, that was in his 30s that had 3 Cy Youngs and was traded in the middle of the season besides Max Scherzer. So you guys in the chat room, go ahead and give me your love for that. Hold on a second. I gotta, I wish I could get things organized, but I never will. So who cares anyway, right? Who cares? It just, you got to accept it for what it is. I'm opening the window now so I could check out the chat room. Douglas will be back in 15 minutes. Oh, this is lame. Matt Hooper this is the guy, it's so ridiculous. Anyways, let's go ahead and that's the genius of the day. Joey Gallo. In 2017 and 2018, he hit 40 home runs for Texas. Okay. In 2020, he won the Gold Glove for Texas. Tell me how many outfielders have ever done both of these things in any season as Yankees. That would be 2 only, Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris and Joey Gallo. Gold Glove and 40 or more homers. That's crazy. Those are the only 2 other Yankees that have ever done that. And Joey Gallo goes to the Yankees and he just gets it done right away. A couple of these players that were traded just went and got it done right away. So Keibert Ruiz, that would be the catcher in Washington. He was traded from the Dodgers to Washington. Washington pretty much traded away their catcher situation. So this guy is going to be the starting catcher going forward. If you need a catcher, this is a good guy. He only has 7 at-bats in the majors so far this season. And in the majors for all time, he only has 15 at-bats, so it's not very many at-bats. But in those 7 this year, he struck out 5 times in 7 at-bats. So, right, like, why am I even bothering to let you know about this guy? Because he sounds like he sucks. Yes, he has not been good. He has not walked yet either. But at AAA, he batted .310 with 16 home runs, 46 RBIs, and 39 runs scored. So he should really be the everyday catcher going forward because of the fact that that's it. They got rid of, I believe Yan Gomes was their catcher. But anyway, they got rid of their catching. And so anyway, at AAA, he's been... See, this is the problem, though, because I told you he's only had 15 at-bats in the major leagues. He's only 22 years old. So he's got, a lot of bumps in the road coming up. It's just not, he's young, bottom line. So he will definitely need some time, but he did hit well in the minor league. So there's that, but he has struck out 5 out of 7 at bats. All right. Abraham Toro, he's got a funny thing, something I found in Jason Stark's article. On Monday, Abraham Toro hit a home run for the Astros against the Mariners. And then on Tuesday, Abraham Toro hit a home run for the Mariners against the Astros. On Wednesday, he hit a home run for the Mariners against the Astros again. So this has never happened. He's playing for Houston on Monday. He hits a home run against the Mariners. Then he gets traded to the Mariners. On Tuesday, he hits a home run against the Astros. And the next day, he did the same thing. Abraham Toro was filling in for Bregman. And he's been playing fine. I think that there's a lot of, I added him in a couple different teams because right at that time that Bregman went out, they were having all kinds of great schedule coming up. So I picked him up and ran with him for a second. Now he's with the Mariners, and he was batting today 5th. So he's going to slot right in the middle of the lineup in Seattle, and he's only 17% owned. He is not going to homer all the time. Like he has hit a lot of home runs in the last week. 4 consecutive games he hit a home run. I do not see that going forward, but so far in the majors this season, he has 8 home runs in 119 at bats, 4 stolen bases too, and he's only been caught stealing 1 time. So he definitely is worthy of that. And he's getting RBIs. Definitely going to get RBIs in Seattle. I love the fact that Seattle did become buyers, and nobody really thought that. That was a bold prediction of mine, and I'm very pleased about it. So, there's a lot of things that I didn't say too. So I could go ahead and tell you about a couple of things that I was wrong about, which is I did not think Max Scherzer would get traded. I definitely thought it hurt Max Scherzer's trade value, dude, that he was out his last start. And we talked about this on the roundtable, such as maybe I don't know if it was Mitch or Douglas, but they said they're just keeping him out because they don't want anything to happen to him. They want to get rid of him and get rid of his contract, whatever. The thing about it is they're still going to be stuck with all of this money because no matter who's paying it, I can't imagine that this part of the contract got traded along with Scherzer. But I do know that part of his contract, which starts next year and goes for, I believe, through 2028 or 29 at least, is that he's getting paid $15 million a year for the next, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years or 10. I don't know. Look it up on Spot Track. It's definitely there. He's getting paid a lot of money, $15 million a year for a good stretch of years after his contract ends, which is ending after this season. So he's a rental. That's another reason. I just didn't think it was going to happen, dude. I was like, who in the world besides the Mets would go and get Scherzer right now? But okay, so it happened. Somebody besides the Mets. No, the Mets did their own really interesting purchases. So anyway, Abraham Toro, everyday player. The ballpark is not as good in Seattle for hitters as Houston had it, but still, he's batting in the middle of the lineup right after Kyle Seager. Mitch Haniger is number 2 on the lineup. It's a better team than people think, for real. So Toro is batting .235 on the season, but he also has a batting average on balls in play that's under 200, which means that he's been getting unlucky. Who knows how much that plays into it, but he's definitely rosterable. So moving on, or this podcast is going to be all night long. Myles Straw. Okay, Myles Straw is another interesting cat, right? He goes from Houston to the Indians. 38% rostered. A lot of people had him already, so who knows if he's available in your league. I'm just going to do a quick thing on him because of the interesting thing that he was batting at the bottom of the order for Houston. And yes, we know he steals bases, but now he's not going to be batting at the bottom of the order anymore. He is going to be batting at the top of the order, at least in the top half of the order for sure. He's definitely not a home run guy, so he'll be batting first or second or at the bottom, which is where he was in Houston. And he had 17 steals with Houston, and that was hitting at the bottom of the lineup. So there you go with that. He definitely should be owned now more than he was. Another guy that has been just kind of useless, really, so far in his career. And I don't know how good he's going to be to begin with because he doesn't hit, he doesn't have great plate discipline. But I'm talking about David Bote. Okay. Actually, he doesn't have bad plate discipline, but I don't really know what is wrong with him. I do know this. He strikes out less than 20%, and he hits barrels a lot. his barrel rate is actually up there with other like really good hitters. It's in the top 10, his barrel rate. So I definitely think that he has more power than he's been showing. He's got a 77% contact rate, which is by far I mean, it's fine by me. 77% is actually pretty good contact rate. He walks 8% of the time, so I mean, this is not a bad hitter plate discipline wise. So since he also dislocated his shoulder, I believe, and he is back. He is going to play every day, whether he plays second base or I think he plays third base. Second base and third base for David Bote. He qualifies at both. He's played each one of them over 20 times this season. He was like the utility guy, but he's going to be playing now. For now, I believe, okay, for the Cubbies, he's going to be playing second base every day because Nico Hoerner will be moving to shortstop, and we'll see what happens there. He's not even playing right now. Anyway, David Bote is going to play every day. Right now, he has 6 home runs and 0 stolen bases on the season. He usually steals like 1 or 2 bases, but he's not really doing that. I don't think his batting average is this bad. And I also think that if he gets an everyday playing time, he will probably get into the groove better and just start hitting better. We saw him in the Arizona Fall League. Lenny picked him out. He does look like a baseball player. He's got he plays actually way more than second base and third base. He plays in the outfield. He plays shortstop. Like, I'm just saying, for this year, he qualifies in fantasy at second and third. So then on the list, we have Ramon Urias in Baltimore, and Freddie Galvis is gone now. So he's 27 years old. This is not a prospect. So he plays second base and shortstop. He's played second base 17 times and shortstop 33 times, and he strikes out 22% of the time. He is 27. We kind of know what we're going to get out of him. He's going to have decent contact. He's going to have batting average. He's not going to be like a huge power guy or a speed guy. In 148 at bats, he has 4 home runs and a 277 batting average. I would rely on him more for just like everyday playing time and not to hurt your batting average, to score some runs and to, do all those things, but really is not going to be like a standout guy. Freddie Galvis is gone, so he's going to get everyday playing time. Rafael Ortega is another Cubbies who is owned in like no percent of leagues. He's batting leadoff for the Cubbies right now. Batting leadoff. Nobody knows about him. Nobody talks about him. Nobody cares about him because too many other good trades happen with players that are really worthy. But here's what he did. In 2019, he hit 285 with 21 home runs and 14 steals at AAA. And then right now he has a 280 batting average. Also has expected batting average of 279. So definitely backed up there. I do think that he's going to get more playing time. He will get some home runs. He will get some stolen bases. Deeper leagues, though, it's not going to be like a great, thing. But definitely Cubbies. They got rid of Rizzo. They got rid of Baez. And they got rid of Bryant in one day. Unbelievable. The next guy is a Pittsburgh Pirate. I wish Hooper was here. This is the only time I wish Hooper was here. But to be honest with you, Rodolfo Castro, Pittsburgh. He's only 22 years old. Okay, so Adam Frazier leaves. One of the guys that leads the way in hits and leads the way. He's a good player. He's gone. Opens up playing time at second base for Rodolfo Castro, who is only 22. He's very young, but he can play second base. He can play third base, but I think he's going to play second base for now. I'm not really sure what to make of this. So he has never played at AAA. He's only made it to AA, which is right now. He came up from AA. So he has, at AA in 2021, he has 207 at-bats, 37 runs, 11 home runs, 6 stolen bases, and a 300 batting average. That's like fantasy, pretty much fantasy 5-tool gold right there, right? The problem is, so he doesn't, I'm not really sure if this is going to be like something that it's such a small sample size, right? So remember that when I tell you this. He is hitting righties really bad, but he's hitting left-handed hitters really good. So I don't know for sure if that's going to be a trend. We don't have a lot of stats on that because he's been in the minors and he hasn't made it to AAA, and he's definitely not fully grown into what he can be. So what I'm telling you, at AAA, he was able, or AA, he's been able to hit 300 207 at bats. That's a good sample size. 349 on base percentage. He's going to get, but one bad thing, don't get him for stolen bases. He got caught 4 times and he has six successful out of 10 tries in the minors at Double A. You know they're not going to be letting this guy run, so don't even think you're getting this guy for some speed because you're not. All right, he has 6 hits and 29 at bats so far in the major leagues. 1 double and 5 home runs. That's not going to last, but yeah, 5 home runs. It's crazy what he did. He's driven in 8 in 11 games and scored 6 times. So I told you that his average is low. It's 207 right now. And his on-base percentage is 258 after 29 at bats. But he really did a good job in 53 games at Double A. So wait a minute. Why am I showing? Hold on a minute. 22 games in the majors. This one I have 11 games. What? I have 2 different players here. Rodolfo Castro and Rafael Ortega and Ramon Urias. All these guys, just look them up. These, seriously, I have some notes mixed up here. 6 hits and 29 at bats. That has to be him because I have 29 at bats, 5 home runs in the majors with a 207 batting average, 6 hits and 29 at bats. Okay. But then it says that he went and played at AAA, but that can't be right because he's only made it to Double A. So this can't be right. This part. Definitely Double A. This is the right player. Believe me. In Double A, 300. I told you that. I told you that he had 41 RBIs, 37 runs, 6 stolen bases, but he got caught 4 times, 53 games. So there's that. He strikes out low, 19%. Even in the majors, he's striking out only 19%. Contact rate high, 80%. So that's good. He's not walking a bunch, but we'll see what happens. Definitely somebody to pay attention to. He plays for Pittsburgh, but these are the teams that, yes, I know they're not great. This is like this idea that you don't want to pick a closer from a bad team, but like if he's the closer, he's going to get saves no matter what kind of team he's on, or if he's on a bad team. If in Pittsburgh, yes, I know it's a bad team, but that just means they're going to give him opportunity that he would not have had if he was on a team like the Dodgers or the Astros. He's going to get playing time. These youngsters will, because they are trying to get them ready for next season. They know they can't win this year, so it's like time to shine, boys. Here's some guys that haven't even been called up yet that I wanted to bring to your attention that I think could be good for going forward. Edward Olivares, 25 years old, Kansas City Royals outfielder. So in the outfield right now in Kansas City, you have Benintendi, Michael Taylor, and Jarrod Dyson. And we know what Jarrod Dyson is. He's good at one thing. He steals bases. And this guy, seriously, dude, he's 36 years old and he hasn't slowed down. Like, hardly at all. Let me tell you. His sprint speed, okay? It's 28 right now. That's only a little bit because lower than what it used to be when he stole 30 bases. It was 28.4. So I'm just saying, you know that Jarrod Dyson can get it done. He already has 7 stolen bases this year. Like, you know, you're getting just a one-tool guy with him. Anyway, he plays right field for Kansas City. Edward Olivares, 25 years old. He's been to the majors 2 times. But okay, so he's been to the majors this season, 25 age, 11 games in the majors. He's not up here right now, though. He only batted 242, which is like league average anyway, so it doesn't matter. 242 in 33 at bats, 8 hits, 1 extra base hit, and 1 home run. But that's not the exciting part. When he was down in AAA this year, which he's at right now again, but he's pretty much crushing AAA right now. He has 13 homers and 12 stolen bases in 208 at bats and 52 games at AAA. He did come up in 2020. He made his debut in the majors. He batted 240 in 96 at bats. He had 3 home runs and he didn't steal any bases, but he got caught twice. So, you know, that's not going over well. He probably won't steal very many bases, but he's 25. I told you he's definitely going to get playing time. I don't know exactly where yet. Probably to replace Jarrod Dyson. I mean, we're talking about an American League team here. So, you know, they also got rid of Soler. So anyway, he has shown definite promise this year in the minor leagues, batting 322, 395 on base percentage, and he will get called up sooner than later for sure. It does look like he strikes out a lot more in the majors, like every other youngster. He strikes out about 25% in the majors, but all of his minor league career since 2015 in the minors, he's only struck out about on average about 17% of the time. So it's not bad. And his contact rate is really good in the minors. His contact rate is not horrible in the majors either. So definitely his name is Edward Olivares, and he's coming up for Kansas City in the near future. And then we move over to Texas, and we have a youngster. Well, he's not young anymore. Well, maybe he is young. I don't know. How old is he? Leody Taveras. How old is he? It feels like he's been around forever. Like we've been waiting for him to be a part of the Texas Rangers for a long time. So I don't know how old he is, but I don't know. He's got to be in his young 20s. Somebody look it up for me, and I'll check in the chat room. All right. So Leody Taveras. Here's what we got. Came up last year, 8 stolen bases, hit 4 home runs, 33 games, 119 plate appearances. He had a 227 batting average, a 308 on base percentage. Okay, age 21 last year. That means he's 22 now. And right now, at AAA, he is hitting 240. No bueno. Still, he's got 12 stolen bases, 14 homers, 46 RBIs, and 49 runs. That's pretty good. We would love to see him up in the majors. Now, he does have also 29 extra base hits in those that I was telling you about, in those at AAA. He's got 29 extra base hits, including 14 home runs and 12 stolen bases. He has got caught stealing 4 times. It's not a great record there, but in 70 games, 263 at bats. So he does strike out a lot. Okay, even in the minors, he strikes out a lot. He strikes out so much, you can't even, like, he's maybe 40% in the majors, and he still strikes out way too much in the minors. Like, he should not be striking out this much in the majors, and he's doing it in the minors. He's striking out like close to 30%. It's bad. He really has to work on it, but he really is doing a good job. If that's the only thing holding him back, it won't hold him back, because people strike out a lot nowadays. It's just the sign of the times. That's what it is. And the deal is, though, you have Eli White, Adolis Garcia, and David Dahl. All 3 of these spots. Okay. So you have Texas is just it's a team that I've studied now. Like, I've looked at it today for hitting. I've looked at it for pitching. I've looked at it for closers. They really need to do something. How can they not compete every year? Like, ever since Nolan Ryan stopped being a part of that team, like retired from, he wasn't like really like a hands-on thing. He was in the board or something. But anyway, when he left, it was like 2012 maybe. But when he left, that team has not been good since. Why aren't they good? I mean, it doesn't take that long to rebuild your team nowadays. This is just unacceptable. It's not, you never see them on like the least amount of money spent. You don't see them at the bottom of the barrel for that. You don't see them, obviously, you don't see them going over the threshold that you're allowed to spend, but they definitely aren't like one of the least guys. Anyway, it's time for Texas to get on with it and make a team. Okay, do something. Maybe it's too hot. I know it's really hot there. I mean, I definitely know it's really hot there, but you would think they would have some kind of roof. Anyway, there's Eli White. He's the left fielder right now. He's older. He's 27 years old. He's playing left field for the Texas Rangers. He sat out yesterday, but he's played 4 games in a row. He went 2 for 12 with a home run, a double, 2 runs, an RBI, and he walked 3 times over the last 4 games before today or yesterday. He sat out recently, yesterday. I don't know, but he's the guy. He's that guy. Until Leody Taveras gets called up, if he does get called up, which I think he will, Eli's the guy, because Adolis has a spot in center field, and David Dahl, of course, if he stays healthy, he's going to be in right field. But definitely, and Jason Martin is another guy too that to be watching and looking at. Josh Jung. I don't know if the J is silent. He's a prospect. Okay. He hasn't reached AAA yet, but who knows what he did in 2020. Nobody can tell because there's no stats for that year for any minor leaguers. There's no stats for 2020. What the hell is that? Ridiculous, because they didn't play in any games. Anyways, right now he's at AA, and he is hitting 317 right now with 9 home runs and 1 stolen base at AA. 9 home runs, 1 stolen base, 2 caught stealings. By the way, this guy is not stealing bases when he gets here. A 317 batting average, a 385 on base. He's got 35 RBIs and 24 runs. And I will say his stats from July through July 30th. Holy shit. See, this is where I'm confused again. This is not the same guy. I have 5 home runs, 22 RBI. This has to be the guy before. Holy shit. I just wrecked my notes. Nobody's hit 5 home runs in like this other guy, right? Nobody, dude. This can't even. This guy, Rodolfo Castro, this guy, he's hit 5 home runs. Like in 29 at bats, he has 5 home runs. There's nobody that does that, dude. So I know for sure that my notes are mixed up because how do I do this? I smoke too much weed, I think. Anyways, I have these stats from July 1st to 30th. 90 at bats, 103 plate appearances, 5 home runs, 22 RBIs. Who knows? Is this Josh Jung? Could it be? Could it be? No, because he's only been in AA so far. Anyways, what the hell? Let's move on. I gotta know who this is. It's a Texas person because I have the Texas Rangers depth chart right in front of me, right below this. Since July 1st through July 30th, 23 games, 103 plate appearances, 90 at bats, 17 runs. I got to look this up. I'm too confused. I know if I'm confused, you guys are definitely confused. Just a second. I'm looking this up. Mashing in AA, that means he is not in the majors. Let's see what he's done in July. From July 1st, 23 games, 103 plate appearances. Is that it? That's it. I'm just getting the stats for AA. So the stats for AA starting in July, the month of July, in AA, Josh Jung. I have to imagine it's Young. This guy has all of this: 17 runs, 90 at bats, 5 home runs, 22 RBIs, and 1 stolen base. He's batting .333 with a 408 on base percentage. He's definitely going to get called up. I don't care. He's not going to go to AAA, but he could get called up. He is, how old is he? I'm not sure, but I can look him up because I already have his page open. So let me check it out. 23 years old, third baseman, Texas Rangers. He has a 5-game hit and RBI streak going on at AA. That was on the 26th. Now, since the 26th, he's been getting hits every day. Seriously, this guy, he's got, just since July 21st, he's got every day, he's got at least 1 hit. 15 hits in the last 9 games. And 3 home runs, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, a stolen base, batting .429. He really wants to get called up. And let me tell you who's playing for Texas Rangers. Does anybody know who's playing third base for Texas Rangers? I bet you don't. I bet you don't know who it is. Douglas, who do you think it is? Hooper, Mac Hooper, if you're out there. Whatever. Okay, starting pitching, Josiah Gray. Josiah Gray is probably not owned in a lot of leagues, but maybe he is because he was an exciting prospect. And let me tell you, I'm not sitting here telling you to go spend all your fab on this guy. I really don't think that this is a good guy to spend fab on. I really don't. Like, if you can get him, you can pick him up. He's not going to cost you a good chunk of your money because there are more useful players out there than him. He went to Washington now. So he's went from being one of the top ranked prospects for Dodgers. Now he's in Washington, and he is a starting pitcher, and he's going to slot right into the rotation. And believe me, he's not ready. He's not ready. Although he did pitch at AAA, he only pitched 15 innings all year. Like, where's he? I don't know where he's been or what he's been doing, but this is not like a great sample size here, okay? He made it to AAA and his ERA was 2.87. That's wonderful. His whip was 0.66, but now he's in the majors. Now he's pitched half as many innings in the majors as he did all of 2021 at AAA. So here's the deal: 8 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 home runs. Let me repeat this: 4 home runs allowed in 8 innings pitched so far in his major league career. That spans 2 games, 1 start, and 8 innings. 13 strikeouts, though. He definitely has the ability to strike out batters. There's no doubt about it. But he certainly isn't somebody that you should be trusting to get any kind of fantasy stats this year. You know how I feel about these youngsters in fantasy anyways, but some might get excited about. Usually it's the ones that nobody else is excited about, because I will not go broke on these youngsters. But every once in a while you find one and you're like, wow, this really, they can make a difference for sure. It's just that getting your hopes up too much isn't a bad idea. So 2 games, 1 start, 8 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, 5 walks, holy shit, and 4 home runs allowed. He's got a 6.75 ERA and a 1.50 whip. He does throw 4 different kinds of pitches, and they're all ranked above average by scouts. So whatever it is, he's not ready, but he is going to be in the rotation in Washington. So if you're desperate, do, by all means. Let's talk about some closers real quick. Closers. Again, speaking of Washington, what are they going to do now? Okay, Brad Hand and Daniel Hudson both traded. So we have Kyle Finnegan, who is definitely going to get the first opportunity for saves. I don't know who will back him up if he doesn't get the job done. But here's the deal: he definitely has the role for now. Tanner Rainey would be the next guy on the list. He did immediately, okay, in his new role, he got the first save on Thursday. He only needed 12 pitches to get through the inning and get his first career save. He is age 29. So he's not young, but he's just been he's only played in the majors just a short amount of time. 2020, it looks like, was his first season. He only pitched 24 2/3 innings. He had an ERA of 2.92. Right now, he's pitched 42 innings in the majors this year, and he has a 3.21 ERA, but now he's a closer, so he has to get it lower than that, or he's not going to be very good. He does have 3 wins on the season, but that was because he was he was a setup guy. So, anyway, Kyle Finnegan, bottom line, it's his job. So there you go. I'd rather take him than the next closer carousel people that I'm going to be talking about next, because you don't know who's going to be the closer in Kansas City. They have okay, here's who we think. Josh Sorg. Anyways, Sborz. Soars. Josh Soars. I looked this up earlier today in my book that I have with all the pronunciations of the players' names. I looked him up. Josh Soars is his name. Okay. He's 27 years old. He's pitched in 40 games this season in the major leagues. He has 36 2/3 innings. He's allowed 33 hits, 5 home runs, struck out 46. So he's definitely striking out a good chunk of batters. He's walked 20, though. His whip is 1.45. It's not great. And his ERA is 4.66. It's not great either, but he throws the ball really hard, this guy. So that's really a pretty important thing for a closer, to be able to throw high velocity. It's all about, do you have any command over that high velocity? But he throws 97 or 96 miles an hour. He walks way too many batters right now, but he's 27, but he doesn't have a lot of experience. Soars is 27. So there's also him. There's Spencer Patton. He's even older. He's 33. Okay. He hasn't pitched in the majors since 2016, but he's pitching fairly well right now. He was pitching. He was in the bullpen. He has 17 innings, 19 games, 6 earned runs, a 3.18 ERA. He throws the ball 93.6 miles an hour, so still really pretty high velocity. 3.18 ERA on the season. His strikeout to walk ratio is 24-6. So he is going to be the opener though tomorrow or Monday. I don't know which one it is, but like they're going with two different openers. 2 days in a row they're having an opener, so he can't really be the closer if he's an opener. And so that is why I say this guy Patton is probably not the closer, okay? Because if he's opening games, that's definitely, he's not the closer. Based on that, just that alone. Now you also have Barlow, Joe Barlow. There's another Barlow. Wait, this is the wrong team. Scott Barlow is Kansas City. This other team, Texas, is, so we're talking, there's two Barlows. One of the Barlows is a Kansas City closer. He is the closer in Kansas City, I believe. The other Barlow is in Texas, and I don't know if they're brothers or cousins or what, but Barlow made his MLB debut last week. He struck out 2, pitched a scoreless inning. He was a closer at AAA, which tells me something. First of all, if you're a closer at AAA, it's bad. Nobody's a closer at AAA. Like, usually closers are starting pitchers in the minors, because if they it's like playing right field when you're in little league, okay? It's not a great spot, the closer role in the minor leagues. He was the closer there. He did have 7 saves too on the season, no blown saves. We don't think he's going to be the closer in Texas, because I would have to say that they're going to use him in lower leverage situations. Now, Barlow is 25, I believe. I believe he's 25. His brother, Scott, or his cousin, or his nephew, I don't know. Barlow, there's 2 Barlows. One's in Kansas City. He's the closer, probably. The other guy is in Texas. He's one of the many possible closers. So they say he has issues with his command because he walks too many batters. Moving on, they also have a guy named Evans. DeMarcus Evans. What's up with DeMarcus Evans? He is 24 years old. He's been in the majors for 13 innings. Now, last year he came to the majors and made his debut, but he only pitched for 4 innings. Now, this year in 2021, he's pitched for 13 innings. He is striking out a ton of batters. His fastball is 92 miles an hour, but he's striking out a lot of batters. That's for real. He strikes out a good chunk. Definitely has a strikeout potential. I do not like his ERA so far. It's 6.23, and we don't really know. He's only 24, very little experience. I really think that he has a couple things that could make him a potentially good closer, though, in the future. Like, I don't know. I really don't know why. He strikes out batters. He has a high velocity. All these guys I'm talking about have high velocity. I definitely think that DeMarcus Evans could be a closer in the future. 28.6% strikeout rate. All these guys are strikeout guys, because you can't really be a closer unless you're strikeout material. You just can't. You can't be a guy that strikes out like 4 or 5 or 6 or even 7 batters per 9 innings and be a good closer. You just can't. So we talked about Barlow. Barlow's got a 95 mile an hour fastball. Love him. Also strikes out 11 batters per 9 innings, and definitely could be all these guys. They're just the whole shebang. You have Brett Martin. He's the next on the list. How many potential closers in Texas? Soares, Patton, Martin, Evans, Barlow. And I'm sure there's more than that, but these are just the ones I have on my list. Brett Martin, 40 innings pitched at the major league level. He is 26 years old, 3.76 ERA, but last year he had only 1.84 ERA. His fastball is 94 miles an hour. He strikes out only 6 per 9. That's no bueno. He will be I wish I had his game log, but he will be a setup guy. He will be a multi-inning pitcher. He just will pitch more than 1 innings, and he'll do that, and he's not going to be a closer. He's only striking out 16%. He has a 16%. He's definitely a middle reliever. Brett Martin, middle reliever. Don't pick him up as a closer. Let's move on to Chicago. They have the same kind of crap going on, just a monkey show over here in Chicago. They have Rowan Wick. Okay, this guy's 27. He's not good. He's never going to be good ever. I just don't see it. No, Rex Brothers. We have Rowan Wick. He's okay. He's not who I thought. Rex Brothers is the one though that's way not ever going to be good. He's like over 30. He's had plenty of shots to get it done. He's never been able to be a closer. He's absolutely not the guy that they're going to turn to in the ninth inning, as far as I'm concerned. And then you have Dylan Maples. He's 28. Keegan Thompson, who was a starter, now could be potential closer. And so you have Rowan Wick, Dylan Maples, Rex Brothers, Keegan Thompson, and a whole slew of other cats. Dylan Maples throws hard. He lacks command. He hasn't been used in high leverage situations, so we can't really expect him to be now. Keegan Thompson, this poor guy, okay, he was optioned to AAA just Tuesday, but he actually came to spring training, started the season at the minors, got called up May 1st. He was sent down May 3rd, got called up again on May 4th, moved to the bullpen on May 9th, and now just the other day, well, a while back, a couple weeks, 3 or 4 weeks ago, he earned a save. He pitched 3 innings. So we got the save, 3 innings. But that's the only save that he's had, okay, in the majors. So the fact that he got it, and he pitched 3 innings, it tells me that they might want him as an effector. The thing is, this poor guy, he gets called up. First, he was a starting pitcher, and he I don't know, man. He's not young anymore, so they're probably just like, you need to do something. You're about to get old, and you're still, Anyway, he throws a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He strikes out a good chunk of batters, and he could definitely be looked at for closing jobs later, but I believe he's in the minors right now. I really do think he's in the minors. I'm not positive of that. Whatever he is, he's pitched 40 innings in the majors. He's been called up, sent down, called up, sent down. He should have a spot in the major leagues from here on out. Rex Brothers, he throws 95. That's the only reason. It's the only reason, dude, that he's still in baseball. That's for sure. He's just 95 miles an hour isn't even that great anymore. It's just barely above average. It's just normal, everyday. Like, if you don't pitch 95, then you probably don't make it to the majors. Okay. So anyway, moving on. Rex Brothers is not the guy for you. Dan Winkler. Who's Dan Winkler too? He's 31. He's never got it done. He's been given the opportunity numerous times and never took the chance and rolled with it. So he doesn't have any saves this season, but he has a blown save. Okay. So I would be do not look at these two Rex Brothers. Do not look at Dan Winkler. These two guys are crappy and they will not last. If you see that their name is at the top of the closer depth chart, that is not going to last. They have plenty of young guys ready to take their spot. And by the way, the leash is not long on a guy that's over 30. Your leash is not long. So you have other people that could fit this bill, such as Rowan Wick. You have DeMarcus Evans. You have Mr. Barlow, and forget about Patton too, because he's already had his chance. What the hell? Cubbies, Rowan Wick, Dylan Maples, Rex Brothers, Keegan Thompson. That's it. Why am I talking about these guys again? Yeah, because Winkler and Rex Brothers are listed as their closers. These other guys that I've been talking about this whole time are listed as their bullpen. It's crazy why they're listed as the bullpen, and you got these two closer wannabes listed in the depth chart as the closers in Chicago. It's horrible. Douglas, what do you think of this, Douglas? Rowan Wick is on the injured list right now. He's on the 60-day injured list, and he was recently transferred his rehab assignment from high A to triple A. So Rowan Wick is on his way back, definitely. Like before he got hurt, his oblique, he had 20 strikeouts and 4 saves and 19 appearances. That would be 17 and a third innings. I definitely think this is the guy that's going to take over the closer role. 3.12 ERA, 138 WHIP. Still, he had a great 2019 too, where he made it to the major leagues, pitched 33 innings, and his ERA was 2.43. Rowan Wick is the guy in the closer of the future, for my opinion, for this season. I really don't think that we're going to be doing this whole Dan Winkler and Rex Brothers bull stuff. Bull dinky. Come and join me tomorrow for the Lady and the Legend at 9 a.m. It's going to be so early, but I'm going to be all baseball and I'm going to be all caught up on my knowledge. So let's see how my DraftKings team did today. I still have lots of money, so that's good. I'm winning no dollars in this one that I have. Let's see what happened. Oh, great. What happened? Buster Posey was not in the lineup. Wilmer Flores is day to day, but he got 16 points. So I am just doing horrible in this. Let's see who's not doing horrible. John Means is back. Look at John Means. They beat Detroit, right? 5-2. John Means, a win. 6 strikeouts, 1 earned run. He only walked 1 in 6 innings. And Domingo Germán, I really thought that this was going to be a better game. Well, the Yankees only scored 4 runs, and the Miami Marlins scored 2. That was the final. But Domingo Germán did good. 2 walks, 2 earned runs, struck out 5. And then you have, holy crap, Aledmys Diaz, 30 points, 2 home runs. You love that. Yastrzemski got a homer. Brandon Crawford's back. Definitely, Brandon Crawford is back. Anthony Rizzo getting it done for the New York Yankees. I knew that Xander Bogaerts would be good today because he's just extremely good about against Yarbrough. He was just, you can look on, I got to tell you what I found today. Savant, Baseball Savant. You can go to Baseball Savant. I mean, I knew of Baseball Savant before. I never saw this Baseball Savant. Really, it's been updated. Like, everything's clean and bright. And you can see the daily matchups for free. You could see every hitter against every pitcher that they're going up against that day. Their expected batting average. They're expecting slugging percentage. Like, there's no secrets anymore. There's no, like, I don't know. There's just too many websites to get information. But when I was looking at it today, I found I was looking at Xander Bogaerts, of course. That's what brought this up. His expected batting average again today against Ryan Yarbrough was .376. And that's because he's got 3 home runs against this pitcher in 25 at-bats, 10 hits. He's been just crazy good against him. And, I mean, there was a lot of Giants that are good against Zach Greinke, if you can believe that, because Greinke's been very good. But these San Francisco Giants don't mess around. Wilmer Flores is one of them. Of course, I put him on my team because I always love to roster Wilmer Flores because he's my favorite. I don't know if you guys saw the Karinchak hit Jose Abreu. It was horrible, but Karinchak felt horrible, and you could tell that this was not purposeful in any way, shape, or form. And like, La Russa runs out there and he like pushes the catcher away. It must have been Roberto Perez because that's who the catcher is in Cleveland. But regardless, it was a horrible, but even Karinchak and Abreu gave each other a hug afterwards. You could just tell how horrible Karinchak felt. His head was in his hand. I mean, it hit Abreu in the helmet, which is very scary. You know, if you lose control, which happens, it's not always on purpose, you know. But anyway, Franmil Reyes came out and he was like on camera. He was talking about, I don't know, Franmil is spunky, so look it up. Just look at the video footage of Franmil in today's game, and I'm out, you guys. I hope that you had fun. Saturday baseball. See you in the morning, 9 a.m. The Lady, the Legend, and that's it. I would say enjoy your Saturday, but you don't have to because it's 11 o'clock at night. Time to call my mother. That's what I do every day. I call her. She's on the West Coast, but okay.